on earth did Kirk Ferentz say during this press conference?
Kind of what you would think he would say, and it's basically, you got to put this one behind you. He felt like they were in it at 10-0 at the half, and then they got a big drive, long drive, scoring drive to open the second half, and I think that was deflating. And then the turnovers just started and kept going, and from that point on, it was just they couldn't get off the field defensively and couldn't stay on the field offensively. And that is a terrifically bad combination for any football team if you can't get off the field on defense and can't stay on the field. And hey, they went basically like 2 quarters without a first down tonight. And you can't win football games if you can't stay on the field. And they couldn't. And, obviously, I think he got asked about the offense. And Coach, you can probably speak to this better than anybody, but it's like you can't go out and change your offense next week. It's not something you can do. So he's basically telling everybody, "I'm gonna keep doing what we do." Cade was interesting. He's pretty confident. In fact, Cade went out there and said he feels like if they got another shot at Penn State that they would beat him. He'd almost like guarantee that they would beat him.
Yeah, Cade's delusional at this point, then.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, hey, you can't deny the confidence, right, Coach?
He's the eternal optimist.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Tom, I made the comment. I've done analytics over the last 8 years, 64 games every year, right, except for the COVID season. So that's about 500 Big Ten games. I can never remember a game where the disparity on plays was 97-33. I'm pretty sure that's never happened.
Yeah.
That kind of spread is almost unheard of.
It's unbelievable when you think about it, isn't it? It's almost like it's unfathomable that it could be that one-sided. And yet here we are. And it was just the worst combination that the defense could not get off the field and the offense could not get a first down. And then you had, the horrific play in the first half was the punt going off Dace Fernandez's back.
Right.
What do you do? I mean, you just got to trot back out there, and then Cade's out there for one play and gets strip sacked. I think it was one or two plays, and then gets stripped and loses the ball, and you're back out there again. I mean, they couldn't get out of their own way, and it was that snowball that just went downhill, and it kept growing and growing and growing, and they could not stop it. And they're making mistakes on defense too. I mean, they just are, and they've got to fix that. But you can't win if you don't score, and that's the bigger issue right now that they've got to respond to. This felt like, I don't know, Ohio State last year, but I also think about the Wisconsin game where Josh Jackson had 2 interceptions the week after they beat Ohio State, and then they went up there and had 66 yards of total offense. And they had 66 yards of offense in the first quarter, and it went negative for most of the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do. No first downs, just they couldn't, and they fell behind by so much they couldn't, you had to abandon the run game. Couldn't go to that. You just had to try and throw it. And it's hard for them to be a throwing team. They've got it. They're not a come from behind team. I don't think this team is going to be good playing from behind this year. They just aren't built that way.
Right.
What are they built for, Tom?
They got to play from ahead. What Penn State did to Iowa tonight was what Iowa has consistently done to everybody else in the Big Ten for years and years and years, which is capitalize on mistakes, force turnovers. We'll look back at the Iowa State game a couple of years ago where the punt goes off the Iowa State guy runs into his own guy and they recover that. That's what the first thing I thought of when that ball went off Dace Fernandez's back. I was like, oh, this is shades of Iowa State, only the other direction. They would get those strip sacks and fumble recoveries. And, how about like that, the muffed punt that was deep in Penn State territory where the Penn State guy recovers it.
Some nights you cannot buy a break.
Yep. When I was going right.
I make the comment to my wife. Usually when you muff a punt, you lose possession of the ball, but not that time.
Yep. Usually when that happens, Cooper DeJean will scoop that ball up and run into the end zone, and he couldn't get there in time. And it's just, you're just living wrong that night. And, it's like going to the blackjack table and you keep handing them $100 bills. And sometimes you just it's just not your night and you should just walk away from the table, right?
Yeah, you think your luck's going to turn, and it doesn't.
It doesn't. You can't keep spending money and hope that luck turns. It's just some nights it's not there, and tonight is not that night. Now, does this mean? And I know fans are frustrated. I get it. You can't explain this one away. Nobody's going to polish this one up and tell you it was filet mignon. It's not. But the team can't dwell on it at this point. They've got to just kind of move forward and figure out, because if they let this one stick with them, they're going to lose to Michigan State next week, and they'll lose to Purdue the week after. And they have to look at it like it's one loss. You come back, maybe you get to you win your next two games. You're at home, and you're going to Wisconsin 5-1.
Right.
And that's how you have to look at it. You can't. And I know people are fire Brian, fire KIRK, fire everybody, fire George Barnett. Those things aren't going to happen. Just not. So you got to, as frustrating as that is, and as much as I think some people want us and the media to force KIRK to change, KIRK is not going to change. This is KIRK's offense, and he's going to run it the way he sees fit. And I always tell people, by and large, it has been successful the way he's run this program. He is, won 200 games coaching football, and he's won a lot more than he's lost. I know that, and so they've got to figure something out to get the. I don't think it's just losing Luke Lachey. I don't think it's just losing. Having LeSean or having Caleb out and having Jazz out. I think it's more than that. So, yeah, they've got to figure it out.